One second. Firstly, I'm going to take my shoes off and I'm going to sit comfortably.
Done.
Because
Do that.
I am otherwise trying to figure out a comfy position and I'm sitting in my own home only. Why can't I be comfortable? Sorry, मैंने अपना आपका pillow हटा लिया.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's the men because the men
Yeah.
are the badass ones that like come with their guns blazing and all their macho-ness and their deep voices because all of that. So usually yes, but I mean usually most meaty roles are written with men in mind.
That's true. Many actors are advised sometimes not to take up a negative role so early in her career.
I'm not someone that I don't want to be bracketed as someone ki it was so good because this. It was so good because that. It just has to be so good.
That's true.
So I feel like I still have a long way to go and
of course.
lot to prove. One direct question that was asked to me in oh, what's happening with your movies and all? And I'd be like, oh good, I just actually shot my film, will be out soon. They'd be like, acha, so like you managed to speak Hindi and all. And I was like, that is how low the expectation bar is with me.
From the time she debuted on the silver screen, she was born to be a trailblazer. And when you see her performances, it only adds on to what I have said. Today, joining me for a conversation only on Bollywood Bubble is Alaya F. Hello, Alaya.
Hello, thank you
First
for the
of
sweet
all,
intro.
Sorry ki that long message was missing, so it will come.
Yeah, the
It will
first
come.
thing I've asked Nayan is where was my long message on your Instagram story?
But-
because you write it for everyone. You wrote it for me Jawani Jane Man time also, if I'm not
I wrote
mistaken.
like a...
Where was it? Because he entered and he was like, your Freddy was so good. I was like, where was my message?
I will begin by saying that Freddy was a brilliant performance.
Thank you.
It was a very layered movie, It could have gone any which way because you're playing this person, you're playing this woman who's like a femme fatale, and it's also like somebody who's very manipulative, conniving. Was it a very difficult role for you? Because that's not how you are in real life.
Not at all. But see, it was difficult in general because, as I've said 1,000 times now, I had no prep time for the film.
Yeah.
Like, I had like minus prep time because I was shooting U-turn for 45 days in Chandigarh right before, and I came back and the next day I was on the sets of Freddy. My first proper reading that I did sitting down with Shashank sir was on my third day of shoot. So it was like that little prep, okay?
But then what have you done with it?
So it was really challenging because not only is the second half not like me, even the first half is not like me. Where am I, this demure sweet girl?
That's
either?
also true.
So it was challenging. But I was surrounded by really good people. So I just sort of trusted. Because I'm also a big director's actor. So if the director tells me don't stress, I won't stress.
But what I loved is you made villainy very cool.
Really?
Yeah. If you see, we've never had, I'm not going to say never, we've majorly not had female villains. If you see, and if you think of actors, you will name a few. Basically, there are very few and far in between. A role like this is not written for women, Do you agree?
I feel like now roles for women are being written a lot better and with a lot more thought and with a lot more substance. So I think we're generally also moving in a great direction.
True.
I have been very grateful that I've always gotten really wonderfully written, meaty roles. So I think I'd be the wrong one to comment on it overall because I really have been quite blessed. So,
No, I'm talking about only the negative roles. Like negative roles are hardly written for women.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's the men because the men are the badass ones that like come with their guns blazing and all their macho-ness and their deep voices because, all of that. So usually, yes. But I mean, usually most meaty roles are written with men in mind.
That's true.
But now meaty roles are being written with women in mind. So that, of course, also includes villains.
It is a very, very different role, and that too so early in your career, you know. Many actors are advised sometimes not to take up a negative role so early in her career.
Correct.
Especially because they fear that you may get typecast, you will start getting the same roles. Were you also having these noises around you?
One second. Firstly, I'm going to take my shoes off and I'm going to sit comfortably.
Done.
Because
Do that.
I am otherwise trying to figure out a comfy position and I'm sitting in my own home only. Why can't I be comfortable? Sorry, मैंने अपना आपका pillow हटा लिया.
No problem.
तो तेरे gesture थोड़ा
ठीक है.
Now that I'm sitting comfortably, and I also want to clarify one thing, this side of my face has my December skin going on, which means I have a little few 1-2 pimples over
That's
here.
okay.
So we will ignore that, okay, for the course of the interview, because the light was coming better from this side, so I stayed on this side.
Absolutely.
Now that all the clarifications are done, we can go on. Okay.
Yeah, so were there noises around you?
No, actually. I think Freddy was just a very good opportunity for me, and I'm not someone that let goes of great opportunities. Everything about Freddy excited me.
Yeah.
Everything about Freddy excited everyone around me.
Yeah.
Not that I take very many opinions anyway. I sort of just go with my gut. My gut said yes when I heard the fur of Freddy. So I was like, I'm doing this. I don't care. There was no second thought at all. I was grateful that I was getting the opportunity.
I also want to ask you that, when Jawani Janiman came out, I remember watching it and I told you that A Star is Born, and I wrote it also. The long message had come.
The long message that came that time.
Yeah. I do feel that you're one of the best newcomers to have arrived in the new generation of actors. If they are going to name great actors, your name, Janvi's name will definitely be there, because I feel that you guys have proved it with your films.
Thank you.
But I still want to ask you that how do you firstly take this when people look at you like that?
I feel grateful, I won't lie and say, like, it took a lot of work. I feel grateful that it's being validated. Because, you can put in as much work as you want, but if you come on screen and people don't like what you do, they don't like what you do.
That's true.
It feels like all the work behind it gets validated. So it feels great, also motivates me a lot more. I feel like I want to keep working hard and keep doing more and, keep growing. Like, there's this thing where in Freddy, when the response to Freddy was coming, a lot of people said, it's so good considering it's her second film.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be so good considering anything. I want it to just be so good. So even Freddy, for me, even though the response was great, I was like, I can do much better. I'm not someone that, I don't want to be bracketed as someone ki was so good because this. It was so good because that. It just has to be so good.
That's true.
So I feel like I still have a long way to go and
of course.
lot to prove. And that's the exciting part.
But unfortunately, today we live in a world where social media has taken over, right?
Yeah.
Like, artistry is also defined by certain numbers, which is sad.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Do you sometimes feel that maybe because you are not positioning, let me put it this way, maybe you're not deliberately positioning yourself in a certain way on social media and you're concentrating only on the art of it? Do you sometimes feel that there's a miss somewhere? Like, people, I understand what I'm trying to say. Like, there are many actors from the generation who may not be as talented as you, but they're just more visible, so they're just...
The thing about visibility is that there are a lot of factors involved in being visible.
Yeah.
Other than just your social media. It's about how many other people's social medias you're on as well. It's about how many, like, for example, right after Jawani Janiman, the ideal time to capitalize on your visibility is right after your film's release.
Absolutely.
Because anyways, people are looking at you, and then if they're liking seeing you everywhere, then they engage with you. After Jawani Janiman, the world went into a lockdown. Missed out on that visibility.
Completely.
And during that time, social media was the biggest blessing for me. I managed to stay whatever amount of visible I could, as relevant as I could just off of social media. I was able to have a steady stream of income thanks to social media. All of these things happen only thanks to social media. So as much as even I like to hate on it a lot, it was a real blessing for me. And then post that, Freddy came out. Finally, now 3 years later, I've had a film out. And now I feel like I'm being able to capitalize on this visibility now. I feel like now I finally see what happened to everyone after their first films, if we're talking about a select group of people. I feel like I'm getting that now. This sort of feels like my first film all over again. I feel like I'm suddenly starting out all over again.
Because of the gap. Absolutely.
Because of the gap. So I think the visibility is not something that I'm missing out on because I'm making certain choices. I think it's just because I wasn't able to capitalize on it the first time around.
Absolutely.
I think the second time around, because I see the difference. I see the difference in my, whether it's Instagram statistics and engagements, whether it's in, the response that people have.
It's in the perception also.
Perception, in terms of the roles I'm being offered now, I think it's different.
Another thing that you have been an antithesis of is the discussion that we keep having about privileges, And I remember I had spoken to Janvi when Dharak was coming out, and I had asked her, what does she think of this whole debate that
Yeah.
goes on. She had said that, then one thing that I really want to give back is that I know that because of me being whoever's daughter I am,
Correct.
I've got that entry might a little easier than others, but I have to prove myself that I've taken somebody's place, so they can't say that, okay, she's not worth it.
Correct.
And today with performances, she's done it. With you also, the same kind of talks would have happened pre Jawani Janeman, you know.
Yeah.
But with Jawani Janeman, I think everybody knew that you were born to be a
Thank
star and you were born to be an actor regardless of your surname or your privileges. How did you deal with it then? Because there was a mindset that even if you're good, but if you are from a privileged background,
Yeah.
you were gonna get targeted. There was a point like that.
For me, it wasn't even about proving it to audiences in the start. That wasn't even the first thought in my head. My thing was, see, everyone is actually quite right. There was no reason for me to be a good actor. And here's the funny thing, because and I'll be honest, when I decided to become an actor, I couldn't speak Hindi because at my home we only speak English, because I don't know, we've just always spoken English. Even with my grandparents, with my everything, I couldn't dance to save my life. I had never acted before, not even like in a random class here or there. I was not fit. I'd put on a lot of weight. Just nothing over there. I wasn't even a huge Bollywood buff. Okay, all these things were there when I decided to become an actor. But I was very clear that if I do decide to do this, and this is my approach to just about anything, which is that if you do it, make sure you do it well. And
Otherwise,
work hard
don't
at
do
it.
it.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
don't do it. And so I embarked on this journey to say, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this and I'm going to work really hard at it. A lot of people had doubts. A lot of people had a lot of doubts because it was sort of like, this girl, what will she do? How will she become an actor? She can't do this, which was true. I really couldn't do any of that. But I'm a fighter. And I made sure that I'm going to be bloody good at it. I'm going to surprise everyone. So I remember even when I had trained a lot and then tested a lot. Then I finally got Jawani Janeman. Then I went and I shot it. And I had a fair idea that I'm not terrible at what I do. Because on set also you get, you get this certain response with the way people talk to you, the compliments you're getting or the whatever. So I knew I wasn't doing terribly. I knew I was doing fairly well. But before people saw it, it was things like, oh, what's happening with your movies and all? And I'd be like, oh, good, I just actually shot my film, will be out soon. They'd be like, acha, so like you managed to speak Hindi and all. And I was like, that is how low the expectation bar is with me. So I was like, that's amazing, because then when I come on and if I do even half a good job, people will be so surprised. And luckily I did a little more than half a good job.
That's
and
true. You were
everyone was really
fantastic
happy.
in Jawani Janeman. When you have a Saif and a Tabu in frames and you stand your ground, you are definitely a good actor.
Thank you.
Is how I would put it. As a viewer, it works for everybody. When you watched the movie, did you watch it with your family? How did they react to this?
No, my family saw the film at the screening. Always. My family never sees anything in advance. I don't... too stressful, and also I like to keep my work. I don't like to involve any other aspects of life in it. When did I see Freddy first? I saw an earlier cut some time ago. So I saw a bunch of cuts of it. Not for approval or anything, just like to see.
Just like to see,
just to see. I loved it. I mean, Freddy is one of those films that on a script level also I just loved. I had a wonderful time shooting it. That's always nice, because when you have a wonderful time shooting it, when you see certain scenes, you remember, just how nice and happy that moment or day or whatever was. So I've always had a soft spot for the film. So it was lovely watching it every single time. And I love watching myself on camera anyway. So I enjoyed it.
At least it's good to admit that.
Yeah.
Initially, when the teaser and everything came out, people or maybe your detractors wanted to always make others believe that maybe she's having a very small role. But I think they were also pleasantly surprised with the kind of role that you had. Did you hear that before and after the release? The perception changed completely?
There was one direct question that was asked to me in one of the interviews. Not in a bad way, just in like a general way. During promotions this was. Only one, I think, directly asked. Can't remember. but they said, so how do you feel, doing roles that are perhaps not so significant or large, but being a part of project. And in my head, I was like, wait for it. But I couldn't say that. So I was like, we'll discuss all this after the movie releases. And I said all of this. But I remember being like, these people don't even know what's going to happen. And that's always nice. I love being that little surprise factor.
Yeah, it's good to be that.
I love that moment when people are like, wait, but we thought. And I'll be like, don't think. I'll show. So it's nice.
You will not believe it's also been a year of women. Let's be very, very honest. Like I was shooting. So when I was planning this round table, which of course didn't work out, you were of course a part of it. And all the other people who I thought of are slowly doing, solo interviews. And that's why we called it Trailblazers.
Yeah.
So we've shot with Janvi, we shot with Yami, we are shooting with Rashmika. So I think it's been a year of women primarily.
Yeah.
Like, do you see audiences ki to of course nazariya badal raha hai, but do you feel that the industry's treatment and respect towards women in general, not just in terms of the characterization, is changing?
100%. 100%, because I think the first thing that needed to happen was roles needed to be written for women.
Yeah.
Good roles, like powerful roles, the way it's written for men. Now that that's happening, and we have supremely capable female actors in this industry that are able to pull off the most amazing roles.
Yeah.
And when a great script meets a great actor, meets a great everything comes together, you have a great film. And when you have a great film, you have great earnings, you have great visibility, you have great everything. So I think, and when all that happens, you have great respect. The problem was every small factor. Suddenly when one factor corrects itself, all the factors start correcting itself all around. So I think it all just starts with getting great opportunities
also,
for women.
I feel women are not ready to take anything less than what they deserve.
100%. I think that's another thing where women are saying, now bus. Now we know what we bring to the table. Why don't you also come and meet us on the table? So I do see and appreciate and feel very grateful that I'm a part of the industry at a time like this when there are there's just so much more scope and so much more. I'll also be honest in general, I've been on sets where I've really been treated wonderfully, so I don't have that experience also of me being mistreated or put down or as less than the male actor. It's never happened. Whether it was on Freddy, whether it was in Jawani Janeman, whether it was U-Turn, whether it was Anurag sir's set, whether it's on Shri now, I have never been treated as wo actress ko bolo, whatever. It's always been like, of course, be a part of the conversation, be a part of this, be
also,
a part
you work
of
with
that.
actors who have been like that.
Exactly.
Too.
Very, very, for sure.
I want to ask you this, that, recently when I was home and we were just discussing after watching Freddy, of course, when I told mom and dad and everybody and they loved it. It's crazy. I'm from the industry, but my mom and dad are not. Do you also feel that in the newer generation of actors, women are gaining more mileage than men? I asked my mom that who are the ones that you like from the current lot of actors? And majorly, and actually she couldn't name one single guy.
Yeah.
And even if you go, even if I have to name, I would think only of maybe an Ishan or a Siddhant.
Yeah.
Or even a Mizan because he's a friend. So I think of these actors.
Correct.
There are hardly, the ratio of men is to women have become very lopsided again.
I think there's going to be a big influx of new boys coming in now anyway.
Where?
I think there is.
Oh, No,
I think there's a huge influx of boys also coming in. Let's see.
मुझे तो नहीं दिख रहा है.
नहीं, I think आ रहे हैं.
अच्छा? तो चलो. But do you feel this change is nice? This whole, at least.
I also think it's a little, I don't even know if this is the correct assessment of it, but I feel like on things like social media and all, as a woman, it's a little easier for you to get, for lack of a better word, not intended in the way that this word is normally intended, but attention.
Yeah.
Because by default you have, because everyone likes a pretty girl.
That's true.
Everyone likes a pretty girl.
That's true.
So as, and I talk from my, I feel like, so on socials and general visibility wise, I feel like if you're a girl, people like to see you a little more than if you're a random guy, so I don't know. I don't even know if I'm making sense.
No,
in this,
you are making
but
absolute sense.
I don't know how to
Can I just
say
tell
this
you that
correctly.
I've been doing videos for over 3.5 years
Yeah.
now, and let me tell you that it's a fact that videos with female actors or female icons
Yeah.
track better than male icons.
Really?
It is a fact.
Interesting.
And if you go and see the numbers, you will see the difference. And it is not just on my platform. You can go to any platform, and it is that. It
Very
is a fact.
interesting.
So that of course proves what you're trying to say. If you had to tell me 3 performances, male or female, from this year that you feel, apart from yours, have been trailblazing, which ones would they be?
Alia Bhatt and Gangubai.
Of course.
That's
Sabne ye
incredible. Incredible. Like, what? Okay. I will say Karthik and Freddy. I thought he was just incredible, and I saw it firsthand.
incredible, yeah.
Now I'm blanking.
So many
other. I can't remember which films came out this year only now.
So many round tables have also happened. You can
Bhumi and Raj both in Badhai Do.
fab.
Just incredible. Yeah, so I thought Badhai Do was just incredible with all performances. Yeah,
Bhumi
and I'm sure
also.
there are a lot more that I've missed out on. There were lots of great performances that happened this year for sure.
Finally, you have this vivacious outer nature, right? And there are scenes where you have to emote,
Yeah.
and you completely switch. Like the first half of Freddy has you playing a victim of domestic abuse, and you make it so believable, the emotional trauma. I want to know that, are there also days when you go not through domestic abuse but any kind of emotional upheavals, which sadly today you really can't put out there openly, because you never know how people are going to take it?
I mean, of course, so many times you go through emotional upheavals and you can't put it out. I mean, any emotional
Yeah.
upheaval I go through, I can't put it out.
Yeah.
Also because that's a selective choice that I sort of make. I like my social media to be
Yeah.
a happy space. I like my general, when people think of me, I want them to think of happy
Yeah.
things. I don't want
Yeah.
them, it's not because, I mean, I'm sure if I really felt strongly about something, I would put it out there. But
True.
I feel like I like people to think of me in a certain way, and that is a large part of who I am. So, yeah.
But the film also talks about a lot of other social issues,
Yeah.
very, very subtly,
Yeah.
When they talk about Freddy's parents, when they
Correct.
talk about your relationship with your husband in the movie,
Correct.
when they talk about deceit, there's a lot of underlining issues that they address. You have a very modern family setup today.
Yes.
But when you were growing up,
Yeah.
was it ever difficult to deal with your parents' separation as a child?
No, I'll tell you, the funny thing is, my parents dealt with their divorce so well.
That's true.
And so smoothly.
That is true.
That I didn't even think of it as like a sad thing. I swear I didn't, because I remember that many years later, my parents got divorced when I was 5. That's around when I was in the 1st grade. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the 4th grade or 5th grade, 4th grade, and one of my friends came to me and she was like, my parents are getting divorced and whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. And I went on with the day. And later on, she's telling me, I felt really hurt that, you weren't there for me, and I was feeling really sad about it. I was like, but about what? She was like, that my parents are getting divorced. And I was like, that's not a sad thing. I was like, my parents are divorced. It's very chill only. I was like, don't stress about it, because I was so naive that I didn't even realize that this divorce could be such a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because my parents just dealt with it so well. So, and they've continued to deal with it really
Absolutely.
well. So, I'm sure for a lot of people, things like divorce are very hard. A lot of the time, it is very hard to deal with within the family and outside the family. But for me, it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah. No, and it's good because Neena ji also spoke in one of the interviews that I did with
Yeah.
Neena ji and Masaba. It's beautiful that Masaba said that, the reason why I have a
Yeah.
great relationship with both my parents, even after their separation, is because none of them tried to poison me against each
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
which is the most
The
beautiful.
most important thing.
Yeah. And I want to tell you that there are so many other movies that you're doing now which are going to come in quick succession.
Yes.
I think Anurag's film was supposed to come before Freddy. Was that the
Anurag sir's
plan?
film was supposed to be my first film ever.
Yeah, that's true.
So That's been a long time in the making. That's finally coming out now. 3rd February. So I'm very excited about that. Almost Pyar will be coming out finally. You saw the teaser?
No, I haven't.
Horrible. Go see the teaser.
I didn't even know that the teaser. See, I was busy at my best friend's wedding, which is
He
why the
can't
posts
write
have
me
not.
a note
I
or
am
a
writing.
post. He can't watch my teasers. He wants to do all these things with me, but what are you doing?
Listen, but I've
for
seen the
me?
poster. I've seen the poster. I'm at least honest. I could have said I've watched it, but I actually.
Yeah. I would have
actually
quizzed you
haven't.
on it. I can tell when people are
that's
lying
true.
and
But I
not.
wouldn't
Yeah.
lie. I wouldn't lie
Good.
for anything. But
I
there,
appreciate that.
but there's another film that you're doing after that. 2 films actually.
Yes.
I am very excited for U-Turn. I'll tell you one reason.
Yeah.
Because I am stopping myself from watching the original. I will watch it after your film releases.
Okay, done.
But I know and I've heard from my sister that that movie is incredible.
How sweet.
Yeah. So I feel that that movie is gonna be a different film altogether.
Yeah.
When is that coming out? Is there a plan to like?
Very soon. Very soon. And then after that, Shri will come out, and then
Yeah.
after that, all the other things that are not yet announced will start coming out.
And finally, if there are 2 actors, male, female,
Yeah.
and 2 directors that are on your wish list, who would they be?
2 actors and 2 directors. How to pick? How to pick?
Chalo, pick 3.
Even harder. I want to work with everyone. Please don't make me pick them. What if
But
I
3,
miss
like
out on some director
I
that
have
really
to have to.
In my full career, I want to do, director-wise, I want to do a film with Sanjay sir, of course.
Sabne naam liya.
Yeah, of course. With Zoya Akhtar ma'am, of course. I really want to. And one more, I'll just leave open-ended, no?
Okay, done.
For whatever other
yeah,
wonderful
done.
everything. And in terms of actors, I really want to do like a 2 female lead film or 3 female lead film with Alaya Bhatt, Priyanka Chopra. That would be like dream.
Jile Zara Part 2.
Basically, just throw me in.
Just put her. And it's a Zoya Akhtar
It
movie,
would
just
be,
imagine.
I know, just can you imagine when I saw the announcement of that? I was sitting there, I was like, what is this? I was like,
I think it's the best cast.
listen, don't even get me
Announcement
started.
in the
I
in
saw
recent
that
times.
announcement and I was like, what? I would give my kidney, my liver, my left arm, my everything to just be in this film.
Absolutely, and I hope you manifest all your dreams because, and you get everything that you manifest because you deserve it. And I genuinely mean
Thank
it
you.
that you're a you're a damn good actor on screen. And if
Thank
you can
you.
make both demure and villainy so believable at the same time, then you've got it right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nayan. Hi, I'm Alaya F and you're watching me on Bollywood Bubble.